everyone. It's been my great pleasure to talk to you about this. But I also realize this is a huge topic, so I'm not going to be able to cover everything. But I hope you will learn something at least, and then we can continue the conversation until later. And so to begin with, I would like to ask you a question. So how much money would you be willing to put down if there's a way to extend your life or your loved ones by 3 months? You don't have to tell me now, but think about it. And what about 6 months? 1 year? Or 3 years? Or even more? Well, so when I posted the information about the series of talk today, a friend of mine replied, if I go there and listen to your talk, am I guaranteed to enjoy longevity? And I answered, if you listen carefully, and of course, if you do the practice right, then you can gain at least 3 more years of life. Okay, so there's a long history of the pursuit of longevity. And back to the biblical days, especially in Genesis, we have seen a lot of people, they really enjoyed longevity. There are dozens of people who lived close to 1,000 years, including Adam and Methuselah. And so, but there are also questions about, whether these people really lived that long. And a lot of people believe that that is true, and there are good reasons. I'm not going to dive into that for now, except to say that in contrast, if we look at the examples of real-world longevity cases, we have, for example, this lady set a record, Jean Calment. She died at the age of 122. And if we look at, so the question is, what are the secrets, right? Whether it being, the longevity of people in the biblical times or, the real world stories. And if we look at not just the Western world, but in the Eastern world, there's this famous person, Peng Zu, who was recorded to have lived about 880 years old. So it seems to go along with 900-ish years for Noah, Adam, and Methuselah. And in modern days, so here's the record, the top 10 longest living people, they're all women. And men, get a little close to the number 10 in women. And then we'll talk about that, and there's a reason. So now we have to face the harsh reality. So the life expectancy of world population nowadays is about 73 years, okay? And for females, the average is 67 years, so that's about 5.3 years more than males. And this is consistent with what is said in the Bible. This is from Psalm 90, chapter 90, verse 10. The length of our days is 70 years, or 80 if we are strong, yet their pride is but labor and sorrow. For they quickly pass and we fly away. And you will see on the next page, some countries are doing better. So there are people who are strong and achieve about 80 years plus. Here's a list of countries ranked by expectancy. So Hong Kong is, so countries and areas. Hong Kong is top of the list, about 85.63 years, and followed by Japan, South Korea, etc. And as the list continues, we'll see also United States somewhere there, number 48, and China, 58. So again, we can think about why. So there are many reasons, and they can briefly be categorized into these three. So genetics, and there's also environmental issues, including the food, the air, and there are also factors that contribute to longevity variation. For example, the habits, practices, and stress level, etc. So everything we do in our life has a consequence, and the consequence could be adding or subtracting the number of years from your lifespan. So an extreme example of life-shortening behaviors is competitive eating when it goes wrong. So this is a very sad story. A New Jersey student who got choked and passed away during a pancake eating contest. And there are also people who attended other eating competitions and got killed. And we are also in the age of there's a crisis with drug abuse and overdose. And those also take a lot of life years from us. For example, the opioid crisis in the United States has led to over 500,000 deaths since 1999, with fentanyl being a major contributor in recent years. And there are huge negative health impacts. The long-term drug use could accelerate aging by damaging the body's organs and immune systems. And of course, there are also suicides. It's a silent epidemic. I read a story about the suicide attempt during the pandemic in the youth was as high as 25%, and I was shocked. And we have seen many sad stories about, so this is a recent story about a 29-year-old mom who, jumped from the building and left a 1-year-old son. And Danny Chan is one of my favorite singers. He passed away almost 30 years ago. And, a lot of these stress-related or mental health-related suicides going on. And that's what happened in China. So the city, that was ranked, the city was the highest sense of happiness. There were like 12 suicide cases in the past two weeks. So besides those extreme behaviors, there are also some commonly observed behaviors or habits that could quietly steal years of life away. For example, there's danger of alcohol poisoning. It goes without saying that excessive alcohol consumption can shorten lifespan. In fact, there's data showing, according to CDC, excessive drinking is responsible for over 95,000 deaths in the United States annually, shortening the lives of those affected by an average of 29 years. And there's also long-term health impacts. So long-term alcohol abuse could cause, liver diseases, cancers, and neurological damages, all contributing to a shortened lifespan. And of course, smoking is something that people could also get easily addicted to. It's a global health threat still. WHO states that smoking caused more than 8 million deaths per year worldwide, and smokers live 10 years less on average than non-smokers. So those are what big data tells us. And we have also seen people affected by unhealthy diet and suffer from obesity and all those diseases associated with obesity. This is a global crisis. So it's predicted that by 2030, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 5 men globally will be living with obesity. And it's linked to a number of life-shortening conditions, including type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and fatty liver disease. On average, obesity would reduce the life expectancy by 5 to 10 years. And there's also, the lifestyle of sitting, for a long time. So the impact of inactivity cannot be underestimated. So modern times, there are a lot of people working, they're just sitting there all day long, and this could negatively impact their lives and shorten the lifespan. So studies have shown that people who sit more than 8 hours a day have a 20% higher risk of dying from conditions linked to a sedentary lifestyle. And the health impacts is that physical inactivity is now considered as dangerous as smoking. Can you imagine that? It contributes to a shortened life expectancy. So lack of exercise weakens your muscles, reduces the cardiovascular health, and increases the risk of chronic diseases. And in addition, there's this inevitable aspect of stress and mental health issues. So the toll is also huge. Chronic stress, especially when unmanaged, can slowly deteriorate health, contributing to heart disease, hypertension, digestive disorders, and weakened immune systems. So data have shown that stress can be linked to a 33 higher risk of developing coronary artery disease and a 45% higher risk of smoke. And persistent stress accelerates the aging process by increasing inflammation in the body, which is a precursor to many age-related diseases. And stress can also reduce the sleep quality, negative impacts on mental health, and lower the overall life expectancy. So think about it. This is from Matthew 6:25. It's one of the verses I like very much. It's talk about stress. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, or the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? A lot of us can reflect upon that. And last but not least, we have also seen in modern days, people get addicted to their screens. And there's been scientific studies that show that this excessive screen time can accelerate aging. I'm not going to go through all the details, but this is science-backed fact. And this is one reason why we call it a cell phone, right? We all become the man behind the cell when we hold a phone in front of us. So again, I'd be happy to go into details if I had more time, and we will in the future. So today I'm just giving you an overview. Hopefully you can learn something, and I'd be happy to discuss with you more. And this is also an important topic. So is staying up late bad for you? It indeed is. And still a lot of us are doing it. So there's a list of negative impacts on health for staying up late. And one of them is shortened lifespan. So how can we live longer? I'm going to talk about some science-backed habits for a healthy life. So this is a recent study about what kind of sports are beneficial for life, for longevity. But I would like to warn you. So there are a lot of studies about longevity and stuff, but you have to read them carefully. You have to understand what assumptions go in there. You can't just, you have to read between the words. You have to understand the background, how the studies are conducted, and what the assumptions are, and what the conclusions mean. You can't take them out and just read them from the words. Like for example here, these are studies from athletes. So you have to understand that this is for studying the effect of these sports on the professional athletes. Okay, that's different from ordinary people practicing these sports. There's a huge difference actually. But there are still some very useful knowledge we can gain from here. So there's a list. So on top of this is pole vaulting and gymnastics. But a lot of us are not going to do those things, right? I think the more common practice by human.
Golf is skiing. Is about gene or something like that. What about golf and skiing, running? It's related to gene.
Related gene? No,
science.
You mean genetic?
Yeah.
No. These are just talking about from the study. They studied athletes, professional athletes practicing these sports, and then look at their lifespan as compared to if they don't do that.
P-value static. This is evaluate.
Yeah. So you can still see running, as we commonly understand, is very beneficial for longevity. Golf, swimming. But swimming is seems slow, but also bear in mind this is for professional people. So if you overdo something, it may have some negative effects too. But you can also see that wrestling is not nearly as good, and boxing and these are not good. Martial arts is so again, bear in mind all these are professional people. So people could get easily injured from these competitive sports. So that could contribute to why they're not as good for longevity, right? Like sumo wrestling is bottom of the list. It's negative 9.8 years. You can imagine that. I mean, it's a competitive sport, but it's also like people have to eat a lot. It's unhealthy, right? You have to gain weight. So we can talk about this for a long time, but I just want to give you some brief idea now. And there are also recent studies that have shown that the obsession with the drugs for treating obesity may not be the best way to go, and so there are inevitable negative consequences or side effects, including risk of suicide, hair loss, and aspiration. So, and this actually not inconsistent with my belief. So I believe that the human body is this very, intricate and balanced system, and so, animal medicine is toxic. We have to admit the fact. When you try to, achieve a certain effect, then it necessarily will introduce a cascade of side effects, and therefore maybe macro device innovation could be the way to go. That will help you. Maximize the potential of the body to achieve longevity instead of resorting to chemicals.
How about the new obesity drug? I forgot the name.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about that. It's a GLP-1 type. Yeah. So there are these inevitable side effects.
What are the side effects?
Like I said, risk of suicide, hair loss, and aspiration. And there's a paper here. You can look into that.
A quick question here.
Sure.
Since the infant born and then grow up into the adolescent, they get a lot of shots, right? Because they have the immune system, have got a lot, including flu shots as well. Those gonna boost the immune system, but also let's say yearly flu shot or even the COVID shots.
Yeah.
So those, how much negative impact to your,
Well,
body system
again,
in
yeah.
in terms of side effect or negative impact? What do you think?
Well, so you have to look into the benefits and the side effects. So when the benefits exceeds the benefits of preventing you from getting a serious disease outweighs the side effects, then just take COVID vaccine as an example, right? There are side effects apparently, but the benefits far outweighs the other side.
Or have to need more research to say how severe or how long can impact?
Depending on the ages too.
Yeah, we have to look at that case by case.
Yeah,
but we can talk
there
about.
There is a side effect.
The side effect in everything.
For all the shots.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I'm running out of time, but I was planning on asking a question. Like everything we do to hurt ourselves actually is bad for lifespan, right? It's bad for longevity. But there's one exception there, which is castration. So, and it's kind of related to the differences in the lifespan between man and human. Remember, female and male. Female have, live longer in general than man. And the question is why. And this castration, I think, it kind of, removes the difference a little bit, right? Or significantly. And for those who study science, NIH emphasizes sex as a biological variable very, very much. And some people may remember this from Xiao Jianghu, right? So in order to, achieve, kung fu, the top level kung fu, then that was necessary for that particular, kung fu. And there's actually studies showing that in ancient times, in Korea, so the eunuch, those who have been castrated, they live 14 to 19 years longer than those who have not. Think about it. And there's also been studies for Chinese Asian people. So the Asian emperors, their average lifespan is about 40 years. Think about it, emperors. They get the best conditions, best living environments and everything they want. Yet the eunuchs, they live on average 30 years more, 30 years longer than the emperor to, 71 years. So think about it. There is secret in there, right? So when I talk about this talk could add 3 years to your lifespan, I was not joking. It's gonna be more than that, right? It could be much more than that. So that was an understatement, okay? I hope you appreciate that. But okay, now back to the scientific part. So what is the underlying mechanism? And how could we possibly take advantage of it, right? And develop novel methodology that is less invasive than castration, but can still achieve better longevity. Okay? And therefore, those of you may also have seen this, right? Okay, you can still succeed if you don't do that. Okay. All right. Now, we can also learn a lot from countries that have been very successful in longevity. For example, Japan. Right? Japan remains a global leader in longevity. The men there live on average 81 years and women 86 years in 2023, even though a lot of them are not particularly active in physical activities. So what are their secrets? Right? So very quickly, they have very healthy eating habits. They have small, diverse meals, and they all eat more fish, less red meat. And their diet is low in oil and salt, and they enjoy home cooking a lot than takeouts. And they also have a balanced lifestyle. So enjoy life, especially those seniors. They focus on personal fulfillment and enjoyment, avoiding excessive family responsibilities that could cause stress. And there's also mental stimulation. So, mind games like chess and Go are very popular, vastly popular in Japan, and that helps them maintain cognitive health or avoid cognitive decline. And there's good sunlight exposure. So sunbath is very common, providing vitamin D for better bone health and circulation, and they also enjoy napping. And there's also, I just read this paper about the role of Tai Chi practice. And this is from a study in Japan. So there's significant association between Tai Chi, utilitarian exercise, and longevity, and the prevention of long-term care needs. So that diagram shows those who practice Tai Chi without a cumulative number of days until they need long-term care, and there's a significant difference. And that reminds me of the myth of the creator of Tai Chi, so Zhang Sanfeng, who, according to history, lived to 212 years old. if that is true, that's very impressive, right? And so the myth has it that one day he watched a turtle fighting a crane, and then he was, inspired and created Tai Chi. And we know, like turtle, they move very slowly, but they live very long. Okay, so here are a few secrets from of longevity from nature. So what we call, the first is that turtle desires. So, reduce the levels of desires. And monkey movements, so stay agile like a monkey. And eating, so, practice mindful eating, savoring each bite with small portions, just like ants do. This supports the digestion and ensures balanced nutrition. And childlike hearts, that's very precious. So keep a curious, joyful, and optimistic outlook on life. A childlike spirit encourages emotional well-being and helps reduce stress. Very precious. And these are, I also listed here 10 good habits for longevity. So very briefly, so drink teas and have a spiritual living. Increase the quality of sleeping. Take cold bath. Drink appropriately some red wine. Pets that could help you reduce the pressure, stress level. Get married. There's evidence showing it leads to longevity. Eat less. That could help you slow down the aging process. And laugh more. Yeah, see, you put it into practice. Yeah, very good. And jump, walk, and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's a time to stand up and be cheerful. And there's also lessons we can learn from the legacy of the Hester McCaudill Ford, who lived till the age of 116. So her life was a testament to resilience, love, and faith, having experienced 4 global pandemics and nurturing a family of 288 descendants. So her secrets to longevity, faith and spirituality. So Hester credited her long life to her unwavering faith, saying, "I live for God." Church was her favorite place, and she recited scriptures even at the age of 112. Simple daily habits. Her routine includes half a banana for breakfast, daily walks, and playing puzzles. She stayed mentally and physically active. Family and compassion. So Ford's family emphasized the importance of cherishing loved ones, as she did with her extended family, and her lifelong practice of caring for others, especially during the pandemics. Her faith and simple lifestyle serve as a lasting example of how love, spirituality, and staying active contribute to longevity. So there are many things we can learn from people like that, and time is short. And I'd like to briefly, remind you, the mission of our AI Longevity Institute is to advance wellness through innovation and education. And so we focus on integrating artificial intelligence to improve health and wellness, to extend the life expectancy and the quality of life. And so our mission is to empower individuals to live healthier, longer, and fuller, and practice health solutions, and maybe pass this knowledge on to the other people and help them live longer and healthier. And so we plan on having these longevity singing classes, or Tai Chi for longevity, or develop new mind games to defeat cognitive decline and Alzheimer's diseases. And then we also will be holding these mental health seminars. So music therapies and cultural experience center that could also help people reduce their stress, anxiety level. And the introduction of traditional Chinese medicine and wellness center. So we plan on having longevity clinic that could include acupuncture and moxibustion, and to improve circulation, relieve pain, and reduce inflammation. All those are essential for maintaining health. And other things include food and whole body massage. And of course, education remains one of the centers of our missions. So we would love to pass knowledge on. We would like to synthesize the best scientific knowledge about longevity, and then pass this on to other people and the next generation to help them scientifically extend their life expectancy. And then we think marriage relationship is also a very important part of our life. So we also try to provide counseling and other services on that regard, and then also engage in community activities and social spaces. So how can you get involved, right? So the first step is come here, right? You already done that, so that's great. So, and then the next is, try to get involved in our programs. I'm going to talk about one program very quickly. And then, it's a place where we actually learn from each other and can grow together. And then we also try to connect globally. So we would like to have an online platform so that we can reach out to more people and have more impact on people's life. Again, I apologize that the time is really short and I can't really cover, a vast majority of the important messages. I could only selectively choose a few. But here are 15 more topics that I'd love to cover if I have time. You can read through the list that includes the science behind longevity, the principles and practice that works. And so I'm pretty sure you can find one or more of these topics intriguing to you and be helpful to you. So again, back to the question I asked at the very beginning, how much money would you like to put down if your life expectancy or your loved ones can be extended by 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, or 3 years? But now our goal can be more ambitious. How about 23.7 years? So for those of you who are interested in joining, we have a WeChat group. You can join now. And then I would love to also have you do this one thing. So you see this QR code there. So for those of you who come here, some people paid, right? I think $36. I hope you find it worthwhile. And some people are invited, guests, and not paying. That's totally fine. We really enjoy your company here. But if you could just think about it, that question, like how much money you're willing to put down in order to gain a certain amount of life to expand. And then I would urge you to make even just a small donation using that QR code as a recognition of the amount of work we have put on to make this work. And then also, this is also a trial. So in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to monitor the donations comes in. Big or small, any amount is fine. But the one who donated the most will have the benefits of getting all these lectures guaranteed for the next year. And then we will also work out a program that could fit other people in. And also we will also include the important mission of fighting misinformation. Okay, there are a lot of information on the internet about longevity, but not all is true. So for example, here there's a list. It says WHO announced this top 20 secrets of longevity. And I actually spent a lot of time to dig into this. I mean, because I'm very curious. So the number one is drink some, good alcohol. I was like, how could that be? And it turns out, the best amount of alcohol for longevity is 0 or close to that. But I think red wine is good, appropriate. A small amount is good for health. And there's also, interestingly, like hugging an opposite sex would be beneficial for your health. And I did look into this. This actually turns out to be true. Hugging could have many benefits, including reducing stress, improve immune systems, and reducing inflammation, improve communication, pain relief, etc. Reduce depression. So maybe we can say 3 hugs away keeps the doctor away. But anyways, 3 hugs a day. Okay, so I think that my time's up. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to, your generous donation, and also working with you to, help you gain a better understanding, systematic understanding of the science and principles behind longevity and the practices that actually work. And our goal is to extend your lifespan and your loved ones by, let's say, 10 years. Okay? I think that's not unrealistic. All right. Thank you.
So now I have 5 minutes of Q&A, and I'm sure lots of people maybe have questions, but we just have this quick as possible. So if anything, if you want to live longer or if you want to live happier, so please raise your hands. Now is the time, please.
Someone said alcohol
Mm-hmm.
is not good for the health. Someone said it's good. Here say it's
Yeah.
a little bit
Mm-hmm.
like the red wine is good.
Yeah.
But someone says that any alcohol not good for
Mhm.
health. How do you think?
Yeah, I would say it also depends on, your health condition, right? So imagine if someone already has liver issues, right? Then any alcohol could be toxic. But I think for healthy individuals, especially for younger people, red wine has been shown to have health benefits, preventing, you from getting like heart diseases and stuff. So, and it also, a moderate amount, that is the key. So anything, even if it's really good food for health, if you have too much, that's going to be an issue. Too much water can kill people too. So,
I just have a random thought.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter, right, who helped establish the relations between China and USA, 1979,
Mhm.
he's turning 100 years old on October 1st this year.
Mhm.
He was born October 1st, 100 years ago,
Okay.
1924. My
Okay.
question is, do you have a study on the mind broadness? The bigger the mind you have, being the president and so on, the longer longevity you will have.
You're talking about Jimmy.
Think in a
You're talking about Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't know his brain is bigger.
Wait,
There's a big heart.
Oh, big heart. Okay, yeah. So I think having been a president could actually have shortened his lifespan. So maybe if he were not a president, this is my conjecture, he could probably have lived longer. Because I just watched Joe Biden, right? How much older he has aged in the past 4 years. So I think having a very stressful job, we have to admit, being a president is a very stressful job. And excessive stress is not good for health. But I know for a fact that he has very good spiritual life. So I think that is beneficial. And he's probably has best doctors around him giving advices and stuff. And I think all those are good, right? Contribute to his longevity. But just in principle, having too much stress is not good. So being a president, inevitably you have a lot of stress, a lot of busy schedule and important decisions to make, right? So that's just my shallow understanding. But I agree, 100 years old is already very impressive.
Yeah, I still remember Jimmy Carter when he visited in China and built a relationship. He was like 40s or something when he was very, healthy. But after that, she did a lot of charity work, and he believed in God and then do a lot of things, charity, and working with with Carolyn Carter, his
Yeah.
wife, and I remember he was in hospice, I think last year, but still going. It's
Yeah.
amazing things. I think he's a very big heart and general and generous and the kindness.
And going back to why in the biblical years, people live longer, there are a lot of factors. The food is probably more organic, right? And also, I think importantly, their life is less stressful. Like they don't have to worry about Trump versus Harris, right? There's nothing. They don't have to worry about who to choose from back in time.
One last question, this gentleman.
Yeah.
Actually, the question I have is regarding your title, like AI and Longevity Institute.
Yep.
And I just wondering, in terms of the AI part, could you elaborate very briefly, like how you think you're going to play into this?
1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay, that's a great question. So I think AI can really help us to develop tools, important tools that would, guide us through our lives. So for example, you're going to learn a lot of these important principles, but not everyone can adhere to these principles, right? So, if we combine AI with modern technology, we can come up with new apps or devices, wearable devices, that will help us, correct us from those bad behaviors that would take our lives away. I think that already is very important. And I've also been talking with people who develop, AI-empowered tools that would help people, control how much they eat. I think that's also very important because a lot of times we don't realize like we already have enough calories, and we just overeat, and that causes, obesity. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.